Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Baina Midday News, coming to you live from Benap House, Atomic Junction, Medina. I'm Khadija Tukubra Keilani. Coming up this afternoon, the National Hajj Board signs an agreement with the Saudi Hajj Board Ministry to confirm Ghana's participation in the Hajj 2024. Also, girls face 6 times higher risks of contracting HIV than boys, says health specialists. And in politics, Mahama to deal with corrupt NPP and NDC members when he wins power. Remember, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Baina TV. We'll be back shortly with details of the stories. Thank you for staying with us. Now moving on to our first story. Nana Kwame Bediako, also known as Chair of Freedom Jacob Caesar, the leader of the New Force movement, has revealed the challenges he faced in finding a Ghanaian spokesperson for the group. According to him, despite reaching out to several Ghanaians, none were willing to openly represent the New Force movement. Instead, they preferred to remain anonymous.
In an interview with the media on Thursday, January 11, Mr. Bediako explained that the reluctance of Ghanaians to step forward openly led him to select Ms. Shalima Abiusi, a Belgian national, as the spokesperson for the New Force. He mentioned that although some Ghanaians initially expressed interest, they eventually backed out, possibly due to fear. Bediako speculated that the individual's approach might have been apprehensive due to the perception that he was not in power. Regarding Ms. Abuesi, who was repatriated by the Ghana Immigration Service, Bediako stated that she had been in Ghana for over 3 years, working with Accra-based GH1 television and also as a model, without encountering any immigration issues until she became the spokesperson for the New Force movement. He clarified that he met Ms. Abuisi through Member of Parliament for North Tongu, Samuel Okuzeto Abulakwa, during a donation to flood victims in Mepe, in the Volta region. Ms. Abuisi was repatriated from Ghana in December 2023 by the Ghana Immigration Service. In a statement, the Ghana Immigration Service explained that Ms. Abuisi's residence permit was revoked by the Controller General of Immigration, leading to her removal for the country. The act was based on Section 20, Clause 2 of the Immigration Act 2000, which empowers the authorities to revoke permits obtained through fraudulent means. The Ghana Immigration Service investigation found that Ms. Abuisi secured a student permit through fraudulent misrepresentation, justifying under the aforementioned act, despite the Ghana Immigration Service's legal justification for their action. Chada claims that the service was unable to produce the alleged forged document of Ms. Abuisi.
Meanwhile, data available to UNICEF shows that a lot of teenagers, particularly girls, are increasingly contracting HIV and AIDS infection in West and Central Africa as compared to other parts of the world. Speaking to the Global AIDS Monitoring and AIDS 2022 Estimated Report, UNICEF Chief of Health Alexandre Boone said the situation could be related to poverty or circumstances of where these adolescent girls live.
Mr. Boone explained that the disposition of girls naturally predisposes them to new infections as compared to their male counterparts. These factors, coupled with a host of challenges confronting the sub-region, are to blame for the phenomenon. Also among the regional challenges compounding the threat to adolescents' health are the limited engagement of community health workers in HIV/AIDS service delivery, as well as the low availability of adolescent and youth-friendly health services services in countries recording higher figures. According to the Global AIDS Monitoring and on AIDS 2022 Estimates report, West and Central Africa is one of the regions in the world where children and adolescents are most affected by the HIV, putting them just behind East and Southern Africa. Sharing details of the data with members of the African Media Network for the Promotion of Health and Environment, REMAPSEN, at a workshop in Lomé, UNICEF's Chief of Health in Africa, Alexandra Boone, said despite advances into recent years, particularly in reducing HIV transmission from mother to child, attention and support for children and adolescents living with HIV remains insufficient. Estimates from the Global AIDS Monitoring and on AIDS 2022 report shows that prevention of mother-to-child transmission, PMTCT, has remained at 65% coverage in the region since 2017, whilst 7 out of 10 children do not have access to HIV treatment in West and Central Africa. Regarding early diagnosis of HIV in infants tested at 8 weeks, Ghana is among 8 countries to achieve above the regional average of 25%, well below the target of 95% on the continent. In a clarion call to action, UNICEF enjoins all and sundry to accelerate the pace towards an AIDS-free generation in West and Southern Africa. It said each country must do everything possible to create a world in which children and adolescents are assured of getting the support they need to fight HIV/AIDS, so they can deliver on the collective promise to enable an AIDS-free generation by 2030.
And now in politics, the flag bearer of the opposition National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has promised to prosecute individuals involved in corruption or corruption-related activities. He said his government, through anti-corruption agencies, will deal with all corruption-related activities in the current administration as well as ones that will occur in his future government.
According to the former president, the unchecked and widespread nature of corruption across the country needs decisive action. During his tour of the Volta region, which commenced on Thursday, January 11, 2024, from Tegbi, the former president accused the ruling New Patriotic Party, NPP, of displaying a lack of interest in combating corruption, attributing it to the alleged involvement of party members in corruption practices, a situation he pledged to deal with when the NDC comes to power by holding those who have misconduct themselves accountable. Addressing the crowd in Tegbi, Mahama issued a cautionary note that the NDC members elected or appointed to the public office who also face consequences for engaging in corruption practices. He emphasized his commitment to accountability, issuing a word of caution to members of his party who go into position of authority to abuse the trust of Ghanaians. The tour serves as a platform for Mahama to engage with Ghanaians, including supporters and sympathizers of the NDC, across various towns and villages to understand their concerns and aspirations for a prosperous Ghana.
Meanwhile, residents and business operators in the Ashanti region are urging the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide them with a load-shedding timetable as the erratic power supply situation continues to worsen in recent times. Following the recent blackout in the country, Ghanaians have expressed dissatisfaction with the ECG and the Energy Ministry for such an absurd situation, which is a disturbing development.
Key players in the industry, including the Institute of Energy Studies, have raised concern over the situation, attributing it to financial challenges. Speaking to the media, some residents in Kumasi, including business operators such as cold store operators, printing press operators, and saloon and barbering shop operators, explain how the situation has affected their businesses. According to them, they want a communication from ECG and a roster as scheduled previously so that they will know when they will have electricity and when they will experience blackout so that they acquired adequate fuel to power their generators. Meanwhile, Deputy Energy Minister Andre Japamesa has assured Ghanaians of 100% resolution to the challenge. According to him, what has happened over the past few days is that some obligation owed by GNPC to WAPCO was an issue. WAPCO threatened that GNPC made some initial payment but it wasn't satisfactory. He added that they have requested the Ministry of Finance to top up but they have not go through some approval processes. He further stated that as of 10th January, the Ministry of Finance has approved a sum of 10 million Ghana cedis to pay for part of the debt to help in solving the matter.
And finally, in sports, former Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakyi has described as non-existent a quote attributed to him following the number 12 expose by investigative journalist Anas Arimiyao Anas in 2018. Mr. Nyantakyi was reported in a documentary to have said he had Ghana President Nana Akufo-Addo in his pocket.
According to the ex-FA president, it was all propaganda targeted at tarnishing his image and destroying his political ambition. He denied saying anything and described the whole expose as propaganda. Nyantakyi had to resign from his position from the FA and CAF before later serving a ban from FIFA following the documentary in June 2018. The former WA All-Stars owner, however, admitted that he had business discussion with the group who presented themselves as investors and could build Ghana a 2 billion refinery. He said he only opted to lead them to the politicians and did not see anything wrong about it.
And this is all we have for you on our midday news. For more stories, log on to our website www.bainamultimedia.com. I'm Khadija Tukubra Kailan, and have a good afternoon and many thanks for doing the watching.
Key players in the industry, including the Institute